Hey. How have you been? This is some of my favorite time of the year. Going down this trail, seeing all of these leaves. Looking out at the ocean. You can see there's a ship there. And still kind of confused about what I'm going to be doing by next year. Planning to call this construction company tomorrow because they have I think they have some easy, simple, relatively high freedom kind of opportunities. It doesn't require long-term contracts or anything like that. Thinking of doing that for a couple of weeks, maybe 32 hours a weekish, and then go on to go to Jordan, spend some time there, and then maybe come back afterwards. But that's the hard part, is the coming back afterwards, because I don't quite know how that's gonna work, because we don't have an apartment left at that point, because the landlord is selling it and we're only renting it, so we can't afford to buy it. So if I do come back, I'm gonna have to find a place to rent, and also find a way of making income, I guess, that isn't fucking, hopefully, just boring or weird or crushing in some way. I've been thinking a lot about how from birth we come out so often so open, so ready to observe and listen and learn, and we're generally very we don't discriminate very much, because a lot of that stuff is cultural. We learn it from the people around us. They point at a certain person and they're like, oh, they're poor, or they're from this other group, or something like that.
Which picture did you see? Was he wearing glasses?
And it's funny, you don't see babies coming out of their mom's stomach, rubbing their hands together, it's time to fuck some people up. The baby is just born as, in a somewhat of a neutral state. They still have feelings and everything, depending on what they've been through and their genetics and kind of hormones they have. terms of stress and all these type of things. But in general, they're very, like, compared to people that are bigger, fully grown, physical people, we get consumed by narratives. Whatever narrative we have, whether it's a religious narrative, a scientific narrative, a cultural narrative, a physical one, something, you know, these people are doing this. This is what's happening in the world. The capitalism is destroying the earth. The environment is dying. Jesus is coming back. The white people are destroying the world. The men are taking over the world. Human beings are the enemy of the planet. Human beings are the master of the planet. All these narratives, whenever we really get into one, whether it's a conspiracy theories type of narrative or a religious one or science, oh, there's nothing, there's just chance and that's it. It's like, that's not what science says, but reductionist materialism. But either way, all of these, whether it's the Big Bang and everything, the way it works, and we feel like that's so real. Like we're and not just that it's not real, but like get so consumed by that specific narrative that there's no room left for like getting somewhere new with the way we think and we look at the world. Because if we're only looking at one narrative, can only behave in one specific way, it's very hard to think of a certain narrative, be completely caught up in it, and then be able to act outside of that. Like if you think that the whole thing is about, you know, whatever it is, I'm very careful not to isolate a specific one. Let's take a certain example, like that all people that do some kind of certain religious thing, they're all different than you, or worse than you, or maybe even better than you. And then you feel, whenever you meet these people, you physically react to it. Like it doesn't just affect you as a passing thought. It's very physically influential on our whole chemistry. It's very hard to have so much that's the thing, right? Like when we're a baby, we're not stuck in a narrative as much. We don't know what's happening yet. And then the moment we grow up, we think we know. And then we keep getting surprised. Keep getting surprised, like, oh, I thought this was the way it is. And then we grow up, and then in 10 years we might discover something else. Maybe at first we think the world is bad because of drugs, and then we grow up and think, wait a second, drugs is what doctors give people and they take it like all the fucking time. Problem isn't drugs, it's the way we use them. And why do we use them a certain way? Well, because we don't have a structure around it. Like the reason people use certain drugs well is because there's a structure around it. If cholesterol pills were just over the counter and people could just take some after, advertising, oh yeah, just take some after meals because cholesterol, like, it would also be some problem. there's some education about these things, it would be different. But when we grow up, then we start realizing, like, maybe the world isn't just messed up because Muslim terrorists are blowing up the world. Or the world isn't just messed up because the Jews are running the world. Or the world isn't just messed up because men are toxic, or because something. Like, it's not any one narrative. Whatever narrative we have, it's not just that. It doesn't encompass the whole situation, right? So how can what narrative do I have? I have a narrative that change is really good, that we need change, that something significant should happen, and we should support that. I have a narrative that the world is part of one whole because everything is made of the same things and all this sort of stuff. But that could be wrong. Now, does it matter if it's wrong? Yeah. But I don't believe that because I just think it's cute. This is just what I'm seeing. And if I were to see something else, I would just try to see something else. That's what I would want. And that's what science aims to do, and that's what Buddhism aims to do, and that's what anyone sane, that's what sanity is, right? If you just believe something because you think it's a good way to think, and then you see something better, and then you're like, oh, whatever, I'm just gonna do it my way. There's something wrong with that. Like, if science proves itself wrong, you believe in a certain theory, and then a new theory comes, proves you wrong. You can't just say, no, I'm just gonna keep believing whatever I believed before because I think that's nice. Oh, I think the world does do this, or whatever. Like that, that's crazy. So, yeah, narratives are such a big part of how we think and operate and view the world. It's basically a war of narratives. And narratives are made of memes. This is what McKenna talks about. Meme, the word meme is very similar to the word gene. It is the smallest unit of an idea. So, an idea is made of memes. Just like an organism is defined by its genes, or rooted in its genes. And so the narratives are made of memes, and that's all we spread. We spread memes. We were like, oh no, God is Shiva coming back, or Jesus is this, or toxic masculinity, or something. And these are all something. Like, almost none of these are absolutely empty, and people bring them up for absolutely no valid reason whatsoever. They all have something. Unless it was made literally for the purpose of trolling or just like being stupid instead of actually someone seeing something. But most of them are based on somebody seeing something at some point in time. Even the wrong scientific theories, they're just based on observations that are incomplete, old ideas or ways of thinking or technological tools. So yeah, this whole thing is very much opening up perspective and narratives not being closed seems to be the name of the game. But within reason, sometimes people are too open. There's nothing. It's all about, there's like, I guess, multiple things. Opening and balance and all this stuff. God, words are so limited. It's like I have all these visualizations in my mind as I'm speaking. I'm painting a picture, but I'm trying to use words in order to convey what I'm visualizing. And it's not quite clear enough. If I had a better way of communication, if I could paint what is in my mind directly so you could see it, then in some way you would be me, because you see what I see and I see what I see, so we would be very much overlapping in some way. So yeah, that's where I've been. Really excited to go to Jordan, hang out with some cool people. I love my friends there. Always have such a good time. I don't know how the virus is doing right now and all this stupid shit with how we try to fight it with closing everything instead of empowering people. Because like statistics show, like people that have adequate levels of vitamin D have like a 90%, like 90% of the cases that, or only 10% of the cases that get into critical care or die have adequate levels of vitamin D. And there's a bunch of stuff like that about zinc and other things. So like why do we try to make a vaccine instead of I guess it's not that different to make a supplement pill that everybody has to take or something like that. But it could be a lot better. Like, imagine if we just made like a healthy food that everybody could just eat, or a pill or a supplement that was just like made you healthier. I mean, I guess we try to do that with multivitamins, but they're not actually made for that purpose. They're made to be commercially viable products, because that's how we formulate everything. So we make it to make profit. We don't make it to be good. That's what people used to do back when it was a different era. Like the pyramids were not made because people thought they're gonna make profit by building pyramids. People are gonna come like that pyramid in Vegas. That's not why they built it. They just fucking built it the best way they can because they thought it would be a good idea for whatever reason. But now, maybe we could formulate based on people's health. You know, since we're doing corona tests everywhere, imagine if we could develop like a fast vitamin D or zinc or something test. You just piss in a bottle, or a breath test, or they take some saliva from you, or a finger prick, something, and it does a blood analysis. And there's something, they have like, 12 different types of pills, or 24 different types of pills, and they just see whichever one you're closest to, and they give you one to improve your fucking health. We have like hundreds of vaccines. We could develop something like this. We could develop hundreds of these, or just have an AI make a formulation and on the spot based on whatever data you have. We have all these tools, but we just want to do this other very economical style of it. Buy masks and stuff like this. It's like telling everybody they have to wear condoms, and we don't care that they that they have sex with monkeys and wear the condom only on their balls. Like, people don't even know how to wear the fucking mask. You just get on a bus and they say, hey, you have to wear the mask. But people are wearing it like down here, fucking over their eyes. They're just walking into shit. Like all sorts of stupid shit you see with this mask stuff. Because all it says is wear the mask. It doesn't say how to wear it. It doesn't say what type of mask. I've heard people say they make masks out of like thin cloth so they can breathe well out of it. And it's like, bro, that's like, that's not even a mask. Like that, if you could just comfortably breathe through it, what does that do? That means if you sneeze, it's just gonna, all these water is gonna come out of it, and you just breathe in everything anyways. So like, what are we doing? It doesn't say what type of mask you should wear. It doesn't say how you should wear it. We just say, oh, just wear the mask, because it's just easy to see that people wear it. It's a social conformity type thing. And it's just a fear thing too, like, because we see someone not wearing a mask and we're like, oh my god, this is someone about to kill people, super spreaders and fucking everything. I'm gonna super spread my fucking brain cells apart and kill myself. Dude, like, what was happening with this shit, man? Make an exercise program and get everybody to do it. Or a breathing exercise. Yeah, exercise program with breathing and immune system exercises like cold exposure and lying down in the sun and 10-minute meditation, like relaxation exercise of some kind. All this stuff changes health so much because it changes inflammation, it changes hormones, it changes biomarkers, it changes the way you breathe, which is related to the corona, and you need the ventilator. Like, dude, these 60-year-old people with big guts and absolutely terrible health that just eat Cheetos and cocaine and fucking Coca-Cola and go to sleep and then take cholesterol pills after going to McDonald's and diabetes and blood pressure pills. Like, we gotta grow up out of this shit. If we want health, mental, psychological, social, even environmental, we gotta like work on something. You know, people gotta like have little gardens in their house with like mint or parsley or something, a chicken, a couple chickens, you know, just eat some nice eggs, something. Gotta take care of ourselves, you know, do some kind of community breathing circles, some kind of community yoga circles, psychedelic ritual circles. You know, these churches, Saint Daime, whatever, ayahuasca churches, they're kind of cool, but we need to improve it. We need to put all of our skills together, you know, like all these different medicines. I don't understand why they don't like each other. They all think that each other doesn't work and they like want to compete for money and customers and shit. Like, you know, the acupuncturist guy doesn't really like the Western doctor, and the Western doctor doesn't really like the sound and art and aromatherapy and these types of working and all this sort of stuff. It's all like, why not? The problem is who's the one who's able to look from above all of these and find some good combination of all of them. But that's what I feel like we need. We don't need just a guy who can do surgery, or just a guy who can give you some herbs, or just a guy who can do massage or give you some needles in your back, like, or whatever. We need all of these things. We need a nutritionist, we need a physical coach, we need a inner healing, trauma healing, and PTSD, and stress management, and anger, and shame, and all this shit. All of it has to be together. Like, how is it that we just... but the problem is people specialize in all these things, and they're still bad. So, like, who is gonna fucking put it all together? That's the thing. The problem is our education system is so fucking bad. It's just about passing shit. It doesn't actually test if you're actually good at something. Like, in a practical sense, it's like these shitty ass martial arts schools. They don't actually train for fighting. They just train to like do some cute form, give people black belts and go home. It's not like a martial school, you know, like for war, like what people used to have. You know, you sit and carry a sword, and or you do a certain form, and you're doing it because you want to fucking kill someone, or you don't want them to kill you. You don't just do it because you think it looks cute and it's just like a funny form of social stretching. Like, what the fuck? But that's what we do at school too. School is like, oh, you just do this certain form. Just lift your legs up like this, put it down. We saw you could do it, good job. But when it comes time to actually do it in front of somebody, which is a totally different thing, it's not even close to being similar, because it's a completely mental thing. When you're, it's like you practice talking to your lover or doing a job interview, and you're like, oh yeah, and then you don't even consider the mental aspect of it. You don't even consider confidence. You don't even consider the way you talk, your voice, all of these things. It's not gonna go well, because it's all about in the moment. How do you express yourself? It's a fluency. It's like you practice a conversation in your head in a script. The moment someone goes off the script, you don't know what to do anymore. If all you know how to say is, yeah, hey, how are you? Someone says, oh, good. And that's it. And you're like, okay, I know how to do that one. But if they don't say I'm good, they say, well, I don't know. I've been feeling kind of weird. I've been thinking of traveling. Maybe you don't know what to do. You just say, oh, okay, cool, peace. You don't know how to say, where are you traveling to? Or who are you traveling with? Or when are you going to leave? Or what made you think of that? Because all these different responses come from the moment. And our schools don't teach it like that. We don't learn medicine, like actual practical in the fucking moment. We just learn what some guy a million years ago said then. Shit like this. It's like a religion. Fucking Hippocratic oath on shit like this. I don't know. Then we don't even care about it. So what even is the point of saying it? Like, what are we doing? Oh, we were not gonna harm anyone and practice. What? Like, you're just doing it anyways. What are we doing? Why do we just accept so much bullshit? That's something McKenna talks about a lot. It's like, we need to be harder on bullshit in public. We need to have the guts to stand up and say, bullshit! That makes no sense at all. Or explain that, or something. We're so taught to be silent and just don't disturb anything. Don't get in the way of things. Just kind of let everything happen. If you're in a class and the teacher does something wrong, oh, whatever. If you see someone beat someone up, oh, just if you see a doctor being bad, oh, whatever, maybe you see a police doing something, oh, whatever. Like, that's how the whole society runs. Man, we have a lot of work to do. And I'm not different. Same, just one person in society. So we're all doing it together. And the most beautiful thing to remember is that we all want that. So that's the hope. The biggest hope is that we all want this. We all want a really nice world. Nobody wants to just go die alone in a shitty world. Everything dies and it's pure suffering. Like, that's just stupid. Everybody wants to be safe and happy, feel nice, have people they care about feel better. All this type of stuff. All of us suffer. All of us know the pain of loss. Everyone sheds tears. We all have parents that missing something, yet giving us so much at the same time. So yeah. That's what's up.